I can just stay up all night, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm old now. It's not gonna happen.
Dude, just the idea of that, like now, like makes you like shiver.
We did that like on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, like,
we were constantly.
But that
doing
was
all-nighters.
just because you can do that. Like there's no such thing as a normal schedule.
Yeah, because I could sleep until 1 in the afternoon if I wanted to. That's why I never
I
made
remember
it to chapel.
They were like. There was like a period where I didn't sleep for a week, and then I slept for like 3 days, and like it was crazy.
We have like the catch-up days. Yeah, you'd go in the Brendo cave, and we wouldn't see you for a while.
Brendo cave. Oh my gosh, that was so like that living in that room was.
You were on the bottom. That was the funniest thing. Matt and I used to dare each other to go like hide in your Brendo cave and wait for you, but then like it's so hot.
Jonathan did that.
I believe it because he would.
Jonathan got in there. I mean, Jonathan got under my bed once when we had like when I had like individual beds. Man, and then even after when I was the only one in that room, I still like. Because it was just too much work to like take everything apart, so I still slept
in your cave
because I couldn't climb all the way up to the top bunk, and the middle bunk was where the TV and entertainment system was.
That's how we played Zelda.
And so it was either like or sleep on the futon, and I had already like discovered that lying on because there was the whole saga of the futon.
Oh, yes. I know the saga of the futon.
I think Steve still harbors a little bit.
That's probably why he doesn't call us when he's in California.
The futon.
I'm not gonna call that futon breaker.
But he left it there.
Yeah.
I had a lot. There was like resentment over the fact that he just like bailed.
I know.
But then like resentment over the fact that I broke his futon. And I remember he like wanted me to pay for it. I'm like, good luck with that. And like you were like, guys, it's okay.
Don't stop fighting.
We were like screaming
You're
at each other.
me.
We were screaming at each other. Like I think you might have like you were like, guys,
we're friends.
This isn't how friends behave.
I just want to be friends. Go play video games. Go to a show. That's great. Crazy. I got a new thing to fiddle with, courtesy of Mountain Roomscapes.
Yeah.
These are cool. I like these.
Where'd you get them?
I don't know.
Keyland?
They had like a whole bunch of them.
Keys.
We've seen one other place that had something similar, but they were
on Van Nuys.
Like super tiny ones. Keys. Oh my gosh.
Keys. How is that not a store?
I don't know. And what made me think of Bob's Burgers? Did you watch that?
I just watched both of them.
Oh my gosh. I had them on today while I was doing stuff. And those are two of the best of the episodes. Okay.
I say that every week.
No, but it just keeps getting better. The Tina one with the old lady, like I was totally like emotional. Like, oh, it's beautiful. Like I didn't cry, but I'm like, oh, this is so like, and she's like, there is romance in the world. But it was also super funny.
Toilet Bob.
And then that, I mean, I don't think I laughed that hard in one.
Oh, plus, Matthew's watching live on YouTube.
Oh, nice. Plus, that one had, I think, the single greatest window joke at the beginning. Did you see the window joke?
Which one? I don't.
You know what I mean? Like a store next door.
Yeah,
it was 100-cent store, and they were having a 1 cent off sale. So it was 99 cents. Yeah, it was fantastic. They all tried to pull him off, and he was glued to the toilet. It was great. Great.
It was great.
It wasn't. I think it was Rob Hubel was one of the guys, wasn't it? And then
was I at Marina Resort?
Maybe. Is that where the boat thing was?
I don't know. Was it?
Could have been.
Were we at Edgewater Inn?
We didn't actually go there.
I was putting them. Then I only get 11 cents.
I don't know for sure what that one is.
I have $22.98.
That's awesome.
Oh, I pre-ordered a book, but it doesn't take it out until
a book.
Jensen's book.
Oh, nice.
It doesn't take it out until the book
actually
goes out.
Oh man. So wait, Matthew's. How do you know he's watching it?
Texted me.
Oh, okay.
That's what the ding was. And it says 1 viewer. It's Matthew.
Oh, nice. Andres sent Matthew an email too.
Oh yeah,
it was cool. He
sent us an
said again.
email.
I saw that, but he was telling Matt, yes, they liked it, and he also had some more like ideas they came up with. They were talking about it over dinner and stuff. So, and then they took that, and Janelle had a good idea based on it, and so Matthew's got a way to like take the curtains out and like have walls there now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So yeah, that must have sucked though. They got stuck in that. So they
Oh
probably
my gosh,
they were probably in that car for a long time.
I feel a little bad too because I know that he's probably not like as gregarious as we, and so we, they're like he said in there, he's in the front, and we're like, okay, tell me your question, and then he's like,
put him on the spot.
I don't even talk in the chat. And I'm like, okay.
It was fine.
I know, but sometimes it's hard to put yourself in someone else's shoes because that to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll come up and talk for you, but I know that not everyone feels that way.
Then everybody would have.
Then it would be a nightmare. I know it would be a nightmare.
And then
everywhere you go,
and everybody would just be
yep
telling everybody about their podcast,
which is almost how it is now anyway. No, it's true.
It's like, or just talking about how great their podcast is.
Yep, that's how it would be.
Yeah,
ready to do this?
Yeah, I'm totally ready.
Did you see the file in there, by the way? It did come in there, right?
Sure.
Well, just in case, I want to make sure I didn't like mess it up.
What? We're doing that right now? Like,
well, I don't know. Record. It's not.
Well, what do you mean?
We'll just make sure it's in there.
I'm sure it's in there.
Is it in there? Radio BrendoMan?
No, I don't see it. It's not in there.
This is in Brack stuff.
Is it in BMOS?
I don't think so. I think I just did it to the main.
Maybe
folder.
it didn't sync. Remember, this is why you didn't use Google Drive. You used Dropbox because you were having problems.
Yeah, but that was my old computer, though.
Well, is it syncing? Because it's not in here.
Let me see.
This is what I'm talking about.
Maybe yours hasn't synced. Is that an online one?
No, I'll go in the folder.
We'll just go. Just
make sure. But I'm telling you, you've.
I think it's in
done
there.
This.
That was on my old computer. Because what would happen is,
but I don't.
It would like time out on my old computer.
Well, then I don't know because maybe you didn't do it correctly.
Maybe yours isn't synced yet either. We'll see.
Maybe.
Aha! It is in there.
Well, why isn't mine?
I don't know, but I was right.
So it says syncing right now.
There we go. Downloading.
Why is it just now doing that?
I don't know. Something.
Wow, look at that. You were right about a computer thing.
Well, it wasn't so much just I know I did it. I knew it was in there.
It's crazy.
I know. I haven't had that problem since I got my new computer. So, all right, well, good. That's in there now. Did you output it as a wave?
What?
On my computer yesterday?
Isn't that what you put in there?
Yeah. But I mean, are you the one that exported it as a wave?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
What do you think? You ghosted it?
I did. I'm like, oh, it's already a wave. Wait, did I do that? I was like having this mental debate. Like, I don't remember doing that.
More crazy.
Yeah.
After I already made you violate your.
Did Audacity just automatically output it as a wave, and I didn't know that was a setting? No, that was good. Save me time. Matthew's been getting more bookings. Like I think like because he did a promo thing on Facebook, and then like all of this stuff, all of us tagging and stuff, and he's already got like I think he's got 3 more rooms filled.
See, people were like tagging people in posts and stuff, and like sharing it.
Yeah, and he's been getting phone calls. People calling, asking.
I've been tweeting.
He said one person called him today in the middle of the day and said they were driving by and saw his sign and they want to do it tonight. But it's not open because he's not open yet officially until this weekend. So, so he couldn't do it. But he called him and talked to him or whatever. But so like because that signage, like that projector thing that he's got outside, that thing is awesome.
It is. It's great.
He's gonna get people just from that. Checking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What is that?
That's my checking musical song. Like if you're in a Broadway musical.
Check.
Checking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, that's when the choir starts coming out, and then like the main character comes across. This is my checking song. It isn't very long. That's the whole play. It's pretty good.
Whole play.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, I forgot one thing because I want to talk about it. Got all that mail.
Did you hear? Oh, nice. Did you hear about the new the new musical about Antarctica that's opening up? Did you? I'm just wondering, like, if people have been talking about it. I heard it's a cold play.
Yes, I did. What is wrong with you?
Thank you very much. We can't record now. I can't top that.
Why did you do that?
I think that's the most I've ever made you laugh with a dumb pun before.
What's the stupidest thing you've ever said? So now we're here. She would probably punch both of us like so hard.
You for encouraging me.
What did you do? Did you just like? Was that like right off the cuff?
Yeah. Because
where did that even come from?
I don't know. I started talking about plays and then Coldplay for some reason, and I can't explain how the brain works.
Can I just was like?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I also love the Brendo, like, I know you're about to tell me a joke face. It's like a half smile, half like wincing, knowing what's coming. That's good stuff.
Okay, I think I got this all here. Oh my gosh. Oh, I didn't post the hang up.
I threw your whole game off. I think you're crying. I think there's an actual tear going down your cheek. There is. There's moisture on your cheek. I made you cry laughing. Man.
Oh my gosh, something broke on the MBWS site the other day, and like where the page is just white.
Really?
I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then I like typed in WordPress white page, and there was like a solution. And I did it, and it fixed it.
Well, that's good.
But I freaked out for a little bit. I was like, no, this is a sign.
What's happening? No, it's a sign that you got the, it's all clear. You got the go ahead. It's a clean slate. There you go. Fresh start. A reboot.
No, not a reboot.
No. Sequel?
No.
Spin-off.
It's a continuation.
Continuation. A retooling.
No. Did you watch like the rest of the Muppets?
No.
You're the reason why it got canceled.
There's only so many things.
It's your fault.
I can only watch so much.
So now I can't make the retooling jokes with Pache.
But I watched all of the Grinder, and that got canceled, so my viewing didn't help. I watched it on
curse.
Hulu, so it doesn't help anything.
I don't
All
think they take those numbers.
They don't even care. And that's where they should count. But they don't.
No, they shouldn't because we're not watching advertisements.
But I'm paying to, though, so they're getting a cut of that payment.
Yeah, but the ratings are gauging how many people are watching so they can sell to advertisers.
I realize.
So advertisers.
It's still dumb. It's a good show.
I understand that. But I lost more shows. Because you didn't watch either of them.
I watched half of it. And I love Agent Carter. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Well, now
It's my summer show.
We'll get to it.
It's going to be my summer show. I haven't heard anything about Last Comic Standing coming back.
Oh, that'll always come back in some form.
Yeah, but sometimes it goes for like 3 years.
Yeah, but then they'll be like, "Oh, this show's cheap. We need something."
Yeah,
so eventually you'll get it. Eventually you'll get it back.
Because they shoot an entire season in one night now, practically, maybe like 2 nights. Because they don't do the thing where they're.
You said it's not even good anymore. Like, why would you keep watching?
Well, here's the thing: it's not as good as it used to be. Because it used to be a whole thing where they lived in a house and they'd eliminate.
Yeah, but then wasn't there like a big scandal?
Well, yeah, because one of the guys was cheating. He was like texting stuff. He wasn't supposed to have communication with the outside world, and he did. And then they used to do like challenges where they go like there was one where they were tour guides on the Universal Studios tram, and they just had to make up stuff as they went along. They didn't give them a script. So stuff like that, which was really fun. And now it's just straight up stand-up comedy, which is still it's not as innovative, but it's still like a lot of cool stand-up comedy. So if you like stand-up comedy, it's still fun. But it's not quite the same. And they also used to do like the American Idol thing where you could like vote each week. And now the judges just pick. So that's also, it's less engaging in that regard. But whatever. We're ready now?
I think I'm ready. Are you
ready? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm in a mood.
You're a weirdo.
Tired.
I don't care. You're tired. You're tired. You have like a weird sleep thing.
Yep.
That's your fault.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so tired. Up till 3 a.m.
Yep.
Oh, so tired. I'm gonna stay up and watch dumb YouTube videos. I'm gonna watch Pleep Bloop
for the 100th time.
over and over and over again. I can just see you sitting there like 4 a.m, just going like Pleep Bloop, Pleep Pleep Bloop.
You're not wrong. A lot of times it's in the bathroom too. Like, it's not gonna be long enough to read a book. Pleep Bloop.
Do you like poop to it?
Pleep Bloop, Pleep Bloop. Pleepy Bloop.
So gross.
It's awesome. It's a Pleep Bloop.
Okay. Oh, timer.
Oh yeah.
Hate this timer. Hate you. I forgot where it is. Oh, there it is.
What's that from?
What?
Oh, Team Fortress.
Team Fortress. It's a heavy. He's a Russian, and he's heavy. And he eats sandwiches.
External time sources? You can like sync stopwatches or something.
Time format? Nope.
Only thing that I can see is set custom time, and it doesn't keep it that way. You can have an external control. Clock. Yeah.
Whoa!
What was that?
I just hit timer.
Timer.
Like that.
Wait, so
how would you even know how
that?
to do that? I click this.
Because it's already selected, so it doesn't look like it's something you can click.
Oh.
So now you can just set it. Will
mystery
that keep it?
solved. Holy of holies.
That is not user friendly at all.
No.
So that's it. You solved it.
Solve the mystery.
So what happens if you like reset now?
Timer.
Test it and see like if you play it and then hit stop and hit reset.
Okay.
Does it go to an hour?
So
did you solve the timer?
Wait, how do I start it?
I don't. Start. All right. So now if you reset,
stop. Reset.
You solved it.
Solve the mystery of the stopwatch.
That
Timer.
It's probably because of your experience with an escape room. You got like puzzle solving in your blood now.
I'm now an expert puzzle solver. Yep. Just call me Professor BrendoMan.
Professor BrendoMan. Brendenton.
Yeah.
Professor BrendoMan.
Brendon. All right. Okay, so now we go this. I don't know. Okay.
All right.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Radio BrendoMan. I'm Brendan Creasy.
And I'm Phil Vecchio.
And it's Monday, but we're recording the second episode because we recorded the live episode yesterday
at Big Bear or Mountain Room Escapes Big Bear.
Yeah.
Fantastic experience up there.
It was awesome.
I guess we talked about it a lot on the last
all
one,
about it.
But any like post
I don't know.
Thoughts?
I was thinking about I want to do that again.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to, and then I was thinking about if I made one,
what you would put in there. Okay, so
I was thinking about Legend of the Hidden Temple.
So my mom came up with this idea because we were going around finding stuff. I went with her yard sale shopping with her to get some stuff for Matthew's room, And I think it was, I can't remember who. She bumped into someone, was talking to him, and they said that they knew someone who was starting one, and they had been going around to different yard sales, and they were trying to go all these different ones. And Mom came up with this idea that what if this is not really a legitimate business, but it's a pyramid scheme, and the only people who are going to them all are people who are trying to start new ones, and they're going to the other ones to find out about it?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's their business, thing. Yeah.
I thought you meant if it was some scheme.
Or the yard sale.
Yard sale racket that they're selling.
Big yard sale.
Big yard sale. They're like, oh, yes, escape rooms.
Yeah, sure. Well, if you are having a yard sale, that's a good thing to put on there. Perfect for escape room stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. They're so much fun. It's so easy to get addicted to them.
See, my mom found that, looked like an awesome, cabinet thing for, $5.
No.
She posted it.
That was her big find. Stuff.
That was her big find from the 100-mile.
Right, the giant yard sale thing.
She didn't find. I gave her a whole list of video games to look for.
Nothing.
She
might not have prioritized that as much.
Well, for me, she
she did. Huh? Well,
I'm her special guy.
It was fun shopping for Matthew stuff because I was able to go to yard sales and get stuff, but not have stuff come back into my house. But I did get one thing.
Yeah, what did you get?
So this guy's place, and he had all these old records, and I was digging through, and I like to buy weird records.
Yeah.
He had a training record for air traffic controllers from the 50s or 60s, I think. And it had an instruction manual inside of all the different, and it's all the codes and phrases they're supposed to use.
That's crazy that that's available because couldn't a terrorist use that?
I don't know. I'm sure it's changed
the system, Die Hard 2 style.
I mean,
and then he guides the planes and holds them hostage.
But it's also funny that now something like that they would just click online and watch a video or whatever. You wouldn't.
Yeah,
you wouldn't mail out a record to them.
But back in the day,
then,
that's what you had.
Or so I now have that
real cassette.
Yeah. So I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm pretty excited about that. And I got it for 50 cents.
It's a deal.
Yeah.
You know what else is a deal? We got a bunch of reader mail.
Let's do it. Let's start
We
reading
got
some
a lot
mail.
of stuff. We got a lot of material to cover in just a little bit of time.
All right, here we go.
So let's see if we can do this. Somebody we haven't heard from in a while, Joe Cooley.
Yeah, welcome back.
Nice to hear from you. He says, "Hey guys, we all know that May the 4th is considered Star Wars Day. Many of us might also recognize November 5th is Back to the Future Day. That's when Doc got the idea for the flux capacitor. April 8th is Rex Manning Day for Empire Records, also my brother's birthday. And I just recently learned that April 26th is Alien Day, a reference to the planet LV-426 where they discovered the aliens. Are there any other movie-themed days out there that I don't know about? No need to mention obvious ones like Halloween or Groundhog Day."
Well, yeah, because that's what I would immediately go to.
Groundhog Day is like my big...
Well, plus Gary Marshall's made a whole career out of making holiday movies now.
Yeah.
What's his next one going to be?
His last one was Mother's Day. Like that one just came out.
Do we get a Father's Day?
He was on Mare, and it was pretty great because, like, I mean, Gary Marshall's been like forever.
Done a lot of stuff. Yeah,
done a lot of stuff. He had a lot of great stories.
So, are there any other like?
Well,
ones?
there's a great horror movie called April Fool's Day.
Okay.
And it's really good. I really liked it. It's got a good twist.
All right.
It's like really cheesy, but and then there is I don't know, I'm thinking about other days. I mean like I think about like I celebrate like when I think because I'm really into like graduation movies.
Yeah.
So like because on the day I graduated, which was like I always have to look it up because I always forget it. I think it's either June 9th or June 11th.
Okay.
It was the day that Can't Hardly Wait came out. It was also the day I graduated. We were supposed to go to graduation practice that morning, and I skipped graduation practice so I could go see Can't Hardly Wait on the day it came out. So that's my annual tradition.
Okay.
But then I also usually will watch other graduation movies that take place around like graduation time, you know, like or just like high school movies.
Right.
We'll Say Anything because graduation. That's another big one, and then like you know. And then like I usually segue into like John Hughes movies, but like but graduation, that's like specific day. Independence Day.
Well, that's true. I guess those fall into the obvious ones.
The obvious ones. I'm trying to think of
lots of Christmas ones too.
Like days though.
Yeah, like a day that occurs in the movie. I mean, I'm sure there are, but I feel like I should have prepared for this question more. I feel like I slacked on this.
Yeah, Groundhog Day.
Like, is there another time travel one, maybe?
I
don't know. We'll have to revisit this. It's a good question.
All right. Next, he asks, I would also like to request a quick bullet point style timeline of Phil and Brendo. Oh, man.
This could be
You guys have mentioned living in several different places in the countless stories you've told on the podcast. Big Bear, Biola University, Wisconsin, Harbin, China. But frankly, I sometimes get confused on the order of things. You don't spend a lot of time on it. Just hit the high points, where you grew up, when and where you moved, college, Smod Castle, when you started podcasting, China, etc. I might be the only weird one that is even interested in this, but maybe it would be helpful to a few others as well.
All right.
Whoa.
Now, an in-depth one would look like a serial killer's wall all charted out with strings and stuff.
It's crazy. But just a quick thing, so I grew up until I was 18 years old. I grew up in San Diego, California. Phil, you lived all over the place.
Well, I did. I mean, I was born in the Pasadena area, lived there for my first 5 years, but then went up to Big Bear, when I was in kindergarten. Was up there most of the time, although we did move back down to Pasadena for 1 year in second grade and then back up again. But most of, all the way up through until I graduated high school was in Big Bear.
Your parents still live in
My parents still live up there.
So then you went to Biola.
Then I went to Biola.
So then
followed shortly by you.
A year later.
Yeah.
I went to Biola.
Yeah.
And then went to Biola. So this is where things start getting crazy
again
for me, because Phil pretty much did the straight, went to Biola, stayed to Biola.
Yeah. I was there 3.5 years.
During the next few years, so I went to Biola for 1 year. Then I didn't have enough money to go back, so I moved back down to San Diego.
Right.
Where first I was living with my mom, but then I couldn't handle that, so I moved in to my friend's house, which is a palatial estate.
You were like the house watcher sometimes.
Yeah,
whatever you call it.
But I was like the worst house sitter of all
house
time.
sitter. There you go.
My brother stole their video camera, left their heater on for like two weeks.
Yeah, what were they having you watch again?
And then I ate all their food.
Yeah, that was
to
a good
where
value
my
for
mom
them.
had to go to Costco and buy
Restock for them.
Oh my gosh,
young
just thinking
Brendo.
about it makes me very uncomfortable because I was horrible. But yeah, so that happened. Then I figured out a way to make it work at Biola. I came back for one more semester. All the while, Phil is still at Biola, and we're still best buds. And
Hot came and like visited you.
And I would come up, and then I would come up for shows and all that stuff. So that whole time, so basically 2 years. 2 full years I was at Biola.
Yeah, because Biola is what, like an hour and a half from where you were.
Yeah, so I was like down in San Diego.
Yeah.
So, but then in 2000, my mom drops a bomb that she is moving to Wisconsin.
Right.
Because both of her sons have now graduated high school. She's tired of Southern California. She doesn't like it in San Diego anymore. She's a Midwest lady. That's where she's from, so she wants to move back there.
Right.
So originally she moves to Wisconsin. So she moved back to Wisconsin. And then I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm just gonna I'll stay out here, go to Biola. I was working a summer internship up in Sacramento, and I was, like, I'll figure it out, And then through the course of the summer, I realized that I'm not gonna be able to figure it out. Biola at first was like, you can't come back because of your grades. Then towards the end of the summer, after I wrote this impassioned letter, they were like, all right, you can come back. And then I was like, oh, wait, I can't afford this at all. There's no way this will ever work.
Psych.
And so then I'm like, never mind, you guys. And give that spot to somebody else.
Right.
And then I, under duress, was because I thought I had no options.
Yeah. Because
the options were work minimum wage jobs and live in either the Lucinda house or your apartment with 12 people.
Yeah.
And just kind of figure things out. Maybe go to Fullerton College.
Yep.
Try to figure out a way to finish, and who knows? I think about that's like one of the big what ifs.
One of those other trajectories, what that would have looked like.
Because that was like one of the big giant things, and so that because my mom was like, there was a lot of pressure. Like, she didn't really. It wasn't her idea for me to go out there, but I don't think she was not stoked when I.
Yeah. She was happy to have you come home.
So I drove across the country. I remember I spent one last weekend at Biola as you guys were getting ready to start school.
Yeah. You
had moved into your apartment.
Yeah, because my senior year, I lived in an apartment off campus.
So you were
with many people.
You were. I remember I'm like, oh man, this could be. Because I remember even at the very end, you were like, you could live in the living room. It would be like $100. Like, you could see it's kind of like, because you were like.
Because we paid, we had so many people living there. Our rent was about $100 a month.
It was the first, I feel, because I don't know. You could probably confirm it, but you were very distraught.
I couldn't have Brendo go away. San Diego, Brendo, at least we could drive and meet you. You'd come up and stuff like that.
So up until I remember the very end, you were trying to figure out.
You're gonna be gone. I know. I was like, because I remember talking to the Lucinda guys, and what was that name of the other house where we did the vaudeville place? Even those guys, was that some? I think there was some overlap there. But anyway, trying to figure out a way to make it happen, but you went on.
So I went to Wisconsin, and then I lived out. I spent a year living there and working multiple jobs. I worked at a toy store. I worked at a video store. I worked at a grocery store. I then worked at an insurance place. No, that was later.
Oh, okay. It's hard for me to even follow that line.
And then during that time, you graduated college.
Yeah, I graduated in December of 2000.
And then you started
subbing.
And then you started dating
Janelle.
I would come back, but I came to visit at least once a year, sometimes more.
Right.
And so we were always still in touch. And I would come and visit, like sometimes multiple times a year.
Yeah.
And I remember the time I came back and it feels like I got a big surprise. And like you guys picked me up at the airport and you were like, we're dating. And I was like, ugh. And so then I, in 2001, I enrolled at Central Christian College in Moberly, Missouri.
Right.
So I could get my bachelor's degree and get out of Wisconsin at least and on my own again.
Yeah.
And little did I know that I was throwing myself into a crazy town of like the most uber conservative people I've ever experienced in my life. And also,
and you got like a good like scholarship or whatever, right?
Well,
that was part of
like there was free tuition paid.
Right.
Like it was, yeah.
So that helped.
Well, it was, and they also took most of my Bible credits.
Right.
And I could still get a degree in the field that I wanted at the time.
Yeah.
And so thus began my 3 years at that Central in Missouri.
Yep.
And meanwhile, you were a sub, and then my was it my senior year? No, junior year. So that would have been 2003. You and Janelle got married. I flew out for it.
Yep.
But didn't quite get to
see part of it.
I went to your wedding. Yeah, we told that story. But so I mean, I was again still around, still.
Yeah. So I at that time moved out of the apartment with all the guys, and then Janelle and I obviously moved in and got married. We lived in the servants' quarters of a mansion.
Yeah.
Like a huge mansion. We actually just drove by it the other day when we went out to the Scholastic book sale. Like we drove by there because anyway, and it's still there. It's crazy. So there's this huge mansion up in the Harbor Heights.
Harbor Heights. There's a lot of big
time. And they had like servants' quarters and they rented it out like an apartment, separate entrance and everything. And it basically was a little 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. So that was where we lived for the first 3 years. So like till 2000. No, it's like 2.5 years. So
05,
so like the end of 05.
Yeah, okay.
I think like December of 05.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So
meanwhile,
Wisconsin, I graduate with my Bachelor of Arts from Central in May of 2004. And I then, in August of 2004, go to Harbin, China.
Yes.
To teach English.
Now, if I was emotional about you going to Missouri, like that was like.
It was a because again, I went back, came and visited everybody that summer multiple times.
And I was like, I mean, I was excited for you. It was one of those like torn between like, of course I want to be supportive and be like, dude, you're going to China.
Yeah. And at the time I was like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, like, you told me you're gonna like live there forever.
Permanent thing.
Like, no.
Because Phil had assumed that as soon as I graduated college,
that you're coming back to California.
And that had been the original plan.
Yeah.
But then I got sidetracked because, again, I tend to do things, I don't know, not like sporadic, I don't know, spontaneously, but I do sometimes take these giant leaps.
Which is cool. I mean, and to your credit, like that's a big... I don't know, what do you call it? Leap of faith or whatever. That's, I mean, just to go off to China and you learned some of the language before you went, obviously. But I mean, it's not like you had like, been there before or anything. Like you just.
So then I was living in China and you were married and subbing and
we lived at that mansion place for 2.5 years.
And then you started working at
I started working at first I worked at the little tiny Lutheran church at St. Luke's doing like the youth group and music. Then I got hired over with Rachel, Josh Anderson's now wife, not at the time. We're doing the junior high group there. And meanwhile, as that happened, we moved to our little house.
Not yet.
That was in 2005.
Not till I got back. I wasn't because I helped.
Well, that's
you
true
move
because
out
you
of-
helped. So the big epic move that we've talked about, like the one that almost killed both of us, was moving out of those servants' quarters into this other house.
That happened in 2005.
Right,
So
okay.
in March of 2005, I left China. It's a long story. Everything I'm sure I've told parts of it. I had a breakdown.
Yeah.
As you could say, panic attacks, problems. Ended up coming back here, and first I was staying in Fresno, and then I stayed with Mike for like a couple months.
Right.
Mike and Shelby in Temecula. But I came and visited because I remember I came to visit, and that was when like you were working at Seacoast, and like you had like there was an actual like gang, like a group of people, and I was like, and then you were like, dude, this will be perfect for you. You should come back, make it work out here. And so I did.
Yeah.
And for a while, like I worked, like first I worked a temp job for a couple weeks, and I was living in people's.
You were like couch surfing. You stayed at our house for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But then you landed longer at.
And then I was at John and Gracie's for a while, and then once I got a steady job, I lived in a series of apartments.
Right.
Started my apartment journey, but yeah. So I got back, and then Janelle helped get me a job at Disneyland.
Yeah, because she had been working there,
and then that began I guess both of our lives in Orange County. Normal.
So for us, we then in 2005 moved to this house. It was over on Del Amo, and it was like so we just liked living in weird places, I guess, because this one
it was like a farm.
It was a farm in the middle of the city. It was in it wasn't Long Beach. What is that little town there in between? I can't think of what the name of the town is. Anyway, Lakewood. It was actually in Lakewood. So in the middle of this big city, but there's a huge, like, I don't know, what is that, like 10 acres or something there?
And now it's gone.
It's gone now. They finally sold it off and made apartments on it or whatever. But
that lady was nuts.
We lived there for 1 month. The crazy lady. We lived there for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Because, like, you helped us move into that one and then also right back out of it. But, like, when we were moving in, I remember Brendan was like carrying a box, and she like hung around and hovered over us as we're moving in. We're paying rent at this place. Like, this is our place at this point.
Yeah.
And she like yelled at Brendan because he was walking too hard on the carpet.
And then I put a box down.
And then you set the box down. Everyone's stomping around. And I'm like, we're moving boxes in here, you know? And she would like sneak into our house when we weren't there and look through our stuff and then write us letters about like, you can't have boxes in this closet. I have things in there.
She was inside your house. Yeah. It's like, that's illegal.
Oh, totally illegal. She would wait until we weren't there and then come in and look through our stuff.
Because you were like, I remember you told me she was like, you did this, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, she'd have to have come inside, and you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah,
like,
but she's been in there. Because she was talking about stuff we had in the front closet. And I'm like, yeah. You're like, how did she know that was? I don't know. She must have come in. So anyway, needless to say, we got out of that situation right away. That was such a cool place because it was on this old horse ranch.
Yeah.
The house was really cool, but then behind it had all these outbuildings that we were going to turn into like a venue. Remember?
We had big plans.
We had
like a studio. We were going to do
we'd like one of them a studio and then have like shows out there because it was a huge area.
And it's like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And yet right in the middle of the city.
We could have done whatever we wanted out there.
We did have one of the most epic movie nights there though because it was such a creepy place at night.
The Grudge night.
And then you had to like walk back to your car.
I had to go lock down the church.
Oh, that's right.
I was like running through the office building.
That's right.
I was terrified, and I wouldn't go in the elevator.
Yeah. So then we moved to another apartment and had a couple of apartments in Orange County.
This
meanwhile,
is just a string of, and then me trying to make things work at Disneyland, but working a string of random jobs on top of Disneyland.
How long were you at Disneyland?
Like a little over a year.
Okay.
But I became a lead, and I thought that was gonna work my way up the chain. Meanwhile, I'm still working like random jobs. Like I was a security guard at a church. I worked at the shadiest eBay store ever.
Right.
Where I was like, I don't understand how this business even works.
Is that even a thing anymore?
I don't know. It was the shadiest thing in the world.
You did pick up some good tips about eBay though.
Yeah.
I remember you helping me sell some stuff back then.
I learned a lot of tricks.
Yeah.
So that was, and also just this nomad life. I moved around a lot,
Yeah.
stayed in people's couches a lot because I couldn't really afford to have once I got elite status and I had then I got an apartment, but I was
Right.
living with like 3 people, and then that was just like we gotta
Fast forward,
and this is just then you guys had a kid,
and then we moved out.
Moved to Yucaipa.
Well, in between, we had our 9-month stretch
homeless.
of like our homeless living in hotels. I think we've talked about that some. Then bought our house in Yucaipa, and we've been there ever since.
And then, like, if you've been listening to the show, you know of all this because it's been happening while we've been in the show.
Right. So,
and then I've moved from Orange County down to San Diego, then to Yucaipa.
That's present day.
And that's now.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a few things in between, but that's pretty good for us.
But I've lived in a ton of places.
Yes.
Because I move around a lot.
We've moved quite a bit, but not quite as many places as you have.
I've moved so much. But that's, I guess that's your timeline.
So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that's interesting.
I've been back here in California for 11 years.
Yeah.
Can't believe that.
Because you at one point thought you were going to live in China for the rest of your life.
I know.
I thought you were going to. By the way, if you guys want to hear like the greatest pun that I've ever told, you have to listen to the pre-show on YouTube.
You hear me?
I literally made Brendan cry tears laughing so hard. Like I could see the tear.
So watch the pre-show.
You really should. Tonight's pre-show.
Because it was the most random, stupid pun. Like so stupid. It was just like you like knew what you did and that like added to it. Like where I just like, oh my gosh.
But I can't retell it because the magic moment. Like
no,
you have to hear the original timing.
Because it's so stupid.
It is great though, so you should definitely listen to that. All right, back to Joe.
All right. Finally, you guys were recently talking about feeling uncomfortable at friends' houses when you were kids, and it reminded me of my own experience. When I was about 11 or 12, I had this neighbor kid move into a house on the street behind me. Our backyards connected. We met and started hanging out a lot. We would always hang out and play at my house. We would play video games. His favorite was Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis because we could use the blood code and watch movies like Indiana Jones and Ghostbusters, etc. Eventually, I was invited to spend the night at his house, and I quickly understood why he always wanted to play at my house. I don't know what denomination they were, but this family was very Christian and very strict about it. The only video games he had were the knockoff Christian Nintendo games. The only music he had was Christian music, Christian books, Christian board games, etc. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-Christian. I was raised Catholic and I'm still a Christian to this day, but I guess my family just wasn't very strict about it, and this was my first experience with this kind of thing, and it kind of weirded me out. But the final straw was the next morning. It was Saturday, which to me meant only one thing, the X-Men cartoon on Fox. I was all pumped up to watch that, but he said we weren't allowed to watch it because his parents said the X-Men's mutant powers came from the devil.
Which actually, the name mutant kind of spells out not devil, but genetics. I just want to point out there. Oh, that's what he says right here. Never mind. At first,
I tried to explain to him that obviously their powers came from a genetic mutation and not from the devil, but that didn't work.
We're on the same wavelength there.
I finally tried to get religious on them and asked how did they know that it was the devil and not God that gave the X-Men their powers, because I was always told that God was more powerful than the devil. And that didn't work either.
That's a good effort, though. I like that.
Needless to say, I didn't spend much time at this house after that. But he would still come to my house to play sinful video games and watch sinful cartoons without his parents' knowledge. Keep up the great work and let the cookies cool.
Yeah.
Joe.
That's a great story. I have to clarify a couple things, though. Some of those knockoff Christian video games I had some good times with.
Oh, but yeah.
The difference was that in my family, my parents weren't like, oh no, you can't. My brothers and I are like, oh, that's interesting. We could buy something that has this, you know. I listen to a lot of, you know, again, music that would be in the Christian realm, but not the kinds of things, you know, probably that would be obnoxious. You know, we've talked about that before. Mm-hmm. So I think that, like you said, those things aren't necessarily inherently bad, but that the strict nature of like, no, this, and this, and that's weird. And I had, even as someone who, again, grew up like in the church, I had friends whose parents were like that.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, oh, no, you like this stuff. Like, oh, that's bad. Never had the X-Men, though. That's pretty funny. The Devil X-Men.
No, that's like those books, like The Devil in the Toy Box.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all this stuff. Like
I have like a weird collection of books like that because I'm just fascinated.
yeah, I
by
had
how
a friend.
stupid
My
they
friend
are.
Henry collected them too, and like he just thought they were hilarious.
Yeah.
And also, it had like awesome pictures of all these 80s
Yeah.
toys.
If anything, like the kids would be like, "Yeah, I want that. Oh,
Yeah.
that looks cool. He-Man.
Yeah.
He looks great."
Okay,
All
so
right.
Anonymous from Canada, you got a couple from him.
Yep.
This is the first one. What was the awkward thing that happened at Janelle's graduation party that made you leave? Oh, it was Janelle's parents started fighting.
Yep. And one side of her parents' family is known for imbibing excessively. So
things were out of control.
It was escalating, and we were like,
so we were like, we gotta go to a show right now. And then we're like, oh, it shouldn't start till 2 hours. I was like, Phil doesn't start for charge. Like, no,
nope. We're gonna get to that show.
Go right now.
Yeah. See, now, I mean, that's the last time. I mean, besides our wedding, that's the last time that those parties get together. So it doesn't happen much anymore. But I guess when our kids were born, but they were cool at those times. You know, there wasn't any major conflict. But at the graduation, it started to get a little heated.
Things escalated a little bit.
Yeah.
And like Janelle's grandma.
Yeah. So that was it.
And then any other awkward party stories?
I don't think so. I mean, my parties, like my bachelor party, we watch movies and play video games. So I'm not like a partier, really. That's my kind of party.
I don't really have any awkward party stories. I mean, I have the embarrassing story of that I've told a few times, my 6th grade birthday party where nobody came. That's
we have the Jonathan Matlock's bachelor party when you almost died on the flip-flop.
I almost flip-flopped to death, and Matt Moss ran into a screen
sliding,
door,
the window
door. Oh my gosh!
But that, I mean, you know, that wasn't so bad.
I have like an embarrassing one. Like,
okay.
It's bad though.
All right. Well, the question was asked.
I was 18 and thought I was awesome. And we had like this, it was our first, like my classes, like first, like we're all in college and we're back home. We're gonna have a big party. And it was like New Year's. And it was horrible. Like I was beyond a mess. Like I don't know, it was just really bad. And I was the only thing I know is like people told me things about like things that I did. I may have like I kissed my friend's girlfriend. Like, yeah, it was bad.
All right.
Real bad.
So you learned a good lesson. That
that like turned me. I didn't drink for like 3 years after that.
Okay, I have a party lesson that I learned too. I don't think I told this one on here before, maybe. But my freshman year at Biola, and I was super excited about like music and stuff. You know, I was already booking shows in Big Bear, and I was stoked because people down here are into bands and stuff. And I was a freshman, but I got invited by some upperclassmen to go to this house party where a local band was playing. And it was this band called Vinegar Joe had a house.
I think I know.
They had a house, and they would have host bands every weekend, and it was free, but you had to be invited.
That. I went to a couple of those.
So this is like my first week of school, and I wanted to be cool. And for whatever reason, like one of my dumb things and I did this in high school some too, but like I would do like lots of stupid stuff on a dare. Like I would eat anything gross on a dare, especially for money. You know, like if someone would dare me to eat something gross and they'd pay me $5, I'd do it. And I have many stories about that. But this particular night, I went there. These upperclassmen are there with me. And so the band's playing in like a living room, and everyone's sitting like cross-legged, watching them. And so there's, probably about 5 feet from the first person to the front of the band. And then there's a sliding glass door open to the patio. And that's where I was standing with the people that invited me out on this patio. And these guys got in their heads, and I think Jeff Edwards might have been amongst them, and said, like, dude, we'll give you $5 if you go in there, like, right in their faces and just start dancing right in front of the band. Because everyone's, like, sitting quietly. And they were kind of rocking, so, whatever. And I'm like, sure, dude, $5. Upperclassmen dare me to do it. I'll do it. So, like, I go in there, and I, like, got right in front of him, like a foot away, and just started like doing a silly dance. And all these people behind me are like leaning around, like they're just giving me the stink eye. And about 10 seconds in, I realized like, oh my gosh, what am I doing right now? But they said I had to dance the entire rest of the song or I didn't get my $5. So I did it for the entire song. The band was trying to be cool, but they were giving me weird looks. Everyone in the crowd was like leaning around me and like staring me down. And my face was probably bright red because I was super embarrassed. And then I walked back out on the patio like with my head hung low. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. And I'm like, or give me my $5. I'm like, we don't even have $5.
Oh my god!
And Janelle got mad at them because Janelle was amongst them.
I'm surprised you didn't start like you. No, that's like the one thing.
Well, she saved the day because she got mad at them and said, "You promised him $5," and she wound up giving me the $5 so that I at least got $5 out of it. And from that day forward, I was a little more careful about what dares I took. I mostly limited it to eating gross stuff. Later on, I changed that, but because I had some incidents of that as well. But that was a party that I definitely had an embarrassing story. There you go.
That was pretty good.
I had, yeah.
All right. Mark Bolton writes, hey, Phil and Brendo. Mark Bolton here again. Good to hear from Craig from the Res again.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Glad to hear your new job is going well. Brendo, I'm looking for a new job, and based on your good luck, I looked into some school district jobs.
Yeah, Janelle's going to be so proud that she started
Get on that train. Janelle is kind of like the path setter when it comes to careers.
Yeah.
Like Disneyland.
Yeah, that's true.
Those other stuff.
That's right. Well, and she got like the temping stuff. Like she got me into some temp jobs, subbing, etc.
All right, Phil, we need some more orchard updates. We're expanding our garden for more veggies.
Ooh, what are you going to plant? I'm curious.
How's it going?
Let's see. It's going well.
Fighting the good fight.
Well, yeah. So it's been interesting because it's, as you know, California, we've had like a massive drought going on, and so everyone had to cut back watering, including me in the orchard. And and I did. I mean, I did my part, but we kept it watered enough so that everything wouldn't die off. But I definitely cut it back. So we're gonna have a really low fruit production year. We're gonna have stuff, but for a lot of the trees look like it's gonna be a slim pickings, except the persimmons, which we're gonna have a bumper crop of.
Ugh.
So hooray for that, right? But yeah, but we're keeping it going, and kind of are up in the watering a little bit now as we're getting into summer, just enough to again, maintain but still be responsible. And this is watering not like a lawn, but watering the fruit producing trees and stuff, so it's, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we still have some oranges on the tree. And that's really about all that's ripe right now. But coming soon is going to be apricots and nectarines. We've got figs and plums almost around the corner as well. So, and some peaches probably will be after that. And then the strawberries, we almost lost our strawberry plants. We got a couple of them off there, and it just got too dry.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to up the drip system a little bit. Now the strawberries are back. So
saved it.
Good. Ooh, and this, I probably remember my grandpa died back, a little while ago. And he's the one that, inspired the whole orchard in the first place. He had the orchard for me, all my years growing up. He had orange trees and figs and blah, blah, blah. And his big thing that he has that we still haven't gotten to grow out here is he had huge avocado trees. The best avocados in the world. You've never had an avocado until you've had like one right from the tree.
They are.
And he had the best.
Insane.
So
it's the secret to Janelle's guacamole.
It is. Well, and here's in addition to losing him, the siblings are selling the house off, and they just sold it this week.
No.
So no more avocados. So I got the last batch of them, and I've been growing the avocados right now they're in my windowsill.
Doesn't it take like a long time?
It takes a long time. So, but I've got one, it's about, 8 inches, 10 inches tall right now, grown in my windowsill. I have 3 going, but I think only one is going to probably last. So we'll see. I'm trying to keep that avocado alive. Plus, he had all these great figs, but my uncle got some of the fig clippings, so hopefully he can keep those going. But yeah, the house is gone. Crazy.
Man.
So no, there's a brief orchard update. Tell us what you're planting there.
How long did it take them to like get all this? Or what did they do with all the stuff?
Oh, they spent. Ever since he died, they've been trading it off. Actually, Matthew got a lot of good stuff for the escape room from there.
Yeah.
But everyone
had like a whole barn full of stuff.
Oh, we did, and there's some family stories that I won't tell on the show, but as it goes with that kind of thing, there's all kinds of interesting things. They sold off a lot of it. And then everyone kind of took what they wanted, if there's things they wanted to keep. Janelle got a gavel.
Nice.
For what she uses, because she does like a mock trial every year, and
Okay.
she just always had him use a pencil or something. So
I could just see Janelle in class all the time.
Oh yeah, she loves it. So anyway, that's the orchard talk.
Scare the crap out of those kids. All right,
she doesn't need a gavel to do
that.
that.
Brendo, what unmovied or TV'd Stephen King story would you like to see made into a movie or TV show? I would love to see a TV movie of The Long Walk, like on a channel like HBO. That's my favorite Stephen King book. I would not be surprised if that happens based on the like whole Hunger Games, Battle Royale, all that craze.
Oh, yeah.
Because The Long Walk, it's about like it takes place in the future where there's like this, it's like this contest where you just have to walk, and if you fall like behind, they like shoot you, and then like the last person
You allowed to run?
wins. You're walking. You just walk forever until there's only one person left.
So it's whoever's in last place, though?
Well, if you fall, you have to like. It's if you fall back like a certain. And it's not just whoever's in last place gets shot. It's like if you fall behind a certain point.
Okay.
Like, and it's just they walk until there's only one person left able to walk.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, creepy, but cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's a whole big conspiracy behind it and everything.
Huh.
It's really good. He wrote it. It's one of the Bachman books. He wrote under a pseudonym, George Bachman.
Oh, Michelle? Oh, okay.
Michelle. Did you know that about George? Yeah, Stephen King basically, as an experiment, he took these books that he wrote when he was in college.
Okay.
That had gotten rejected by publishers, and this was like after it's like in the early 80s.
Right.
And he published them as Richard Bachman. It's like a pseudonym that he came up with, and he published 4 of them, and they were like straight like pulp paperbacks.
Right.
Didn't sell like hardly anything, and like nobody knew for the first few years, like he released 4 books, and then the one, and then he released Thinner, which there was a movie,
right?
And as a Bachman book, and a bunch of people were like, this feels like a Stephen King novel, and also like it like sold a ton, and then finally some journalist, like an investigative journalist, did like crazy research to where they traced it. They went to like the Library of Congress. They got a PO box. They staked out like who went to the PO box, and it was this crazy thing where then somebody found out, and they let him know like, hey, we know you can. It will give you a chance to announce it yourself before we publish it. So then Stephen King's like, yes, I am Richard Bachman.
So then those books all sold then, right?
And then they because they were out of print at that point.
Oh man.
And so then the publisher was like, all right, and they released it as the Bachman books, like an omnibus.
That's cool.
And yeah, and then they sold a ton. And then he's resurrected Bachman a couple times.
Nice. But now everyone knows who it is.
Yes.
Okay.
But I just thought that was cool because he totally pulled it off for like quite a while.
That's awesome.
But yeah, mine would be, that's a great question, Mark. And mine, I used to always say The Mist, and then Frank Darabont made it, and it was great. I still have an idea that I've had since I was a teenager for a Mist, the ride. So you've seen The Mist, right?
Yeah.
So you know, like it takes place in the supermarket. So my ride, it would be this whole experience where the queue is in the supermarket. So you start off in the supermarket, and then you have to go out into the mist
to go on the ride,
and then you go out and get on the ride. Meanwhile, there's like animatronic things attacking you and stuff's happening.
Cool.
Maybe like actors, and then you get into like maybe like a military vehicle, or just like you're gonna have to escape, and then that's like the ride part, and there's like giant stuff and the arm, like all kinds of crazy. That'd be like an awesome ride. And I always thought about that because I remember I first thought about it because there was this if you're driving down in La Costa, there's the Bataquitos Lagoon, and it's like, and I remember at night there was always like fog, and it was this big curvy road. And I remember I the first time I read The Mist, and then we're driving that at night, and it's foggy, and we're driving kind of fast. And I'm like, ooh, escape from the mist. Like, what if this was a ride? And that's like how nerdy my like 12-year-old brain.
Yeah,
I'm
but
thinking
I would
about
want to ride
Stephen King book rides. But So now I would say story would be the actual Hearts in Atlantis story of Hearts in Atlantis.
Okay.
Because the movie was actually that story that the movie was the first novella.
Book, yeah.
And it was actually called Low Men in Yellow Coats. The actual Hearts in Atlantis story, it's the ultimate college story. Like it depicts the college experience, even though it takes place during the Vietnam War era. It's like this timeless. I was like, oh my gosh, like this captures like your first year at college and that, like, you know, both carefree but also the intense pressure of like being on your own, having to figure stuff out for yourself, and nobody's forcing you to go to class. And now, you know, I don't know if you ever had a point in your college career where you just at some point either almost hit the bottom or came close, like started teetering a little bit, just because, I mean, you always
I walked the line. But
everybody has this moment where you're like, oh crap, like your oh crap moment. And some people are able to survive those. But just that whole experience of like you're on college, there's nobody telling you, hey, get up, go to class.
Yep.
Hey, you got to do this. And that can go both good and bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the book just captured it so well, and it's beautiful, and I would love to see that.
What would they call it since the name's been done?
I don't know, because that's the name of it.
And if they called it that, everyone would just think,
I know,
like, oh,
so I don't know. They could
come
up with something, I don't know, but it's so good. And and then even the rest of that, and then if a short story of his, he has so many. There's one from I think it's in Skeleton Crew. No, maybe Night Shift. The Jaunt.
Okay.
It is about so you know how they're talking about the Hyperloop, and it's like this like super crazy fast like public transportation thing.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like this futuristic space travel that's like instant. It's called The Jaunt. And it's about that, and something bad happens.
Okay.
But it's really good.
When he comes back out, his head's on backwards.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay. All right. That's cool. All right. What else has Mark got to say here?
Thanks for writing back, Steve Espinoza.
Yeah, pen pals.
I have a few answers to your question of what fictional character I would choose to be. I love comic books, so any superhero would be amazing. But my number one choice would have to be the Atom from DC Comics. His power to shrink down to a subatomic level has always intrigued me. What would it be like to have to look up to a neutrino? I could explore subatomic civilizations, travel on the back of an electron, or ride on Hawkman's shoulder. It would also be cool to be either Alice or Dorothy from Alice in Wonderland and the Wizard of Oz. Being a normal person and discovering unusual fantasy worlds would be rad.
I could see that.
But also feel like
I'd be
scary.
terrified though, yeah, because like
winged monkeys, man, and
or
all
like,
that crazy Alice in Wonderland.
Like
stuff.
seriously, especially
Big
if you
Baby,
watch the like Ringo Starr version, like, I don't know. I mean, I see like the appeal, but also I think I'd be terrified to be in those.
She'd be like, no.
Okay, because Return to Oz and the Ringo Starr like Alice in Wonderland, those two right there are enough to ruin me.
Wizard of Oz is pretty. I mean, freaking monkeys and
But Return to Oz, dude. If I had to see Mombi, I'm dead.
Wheelies,
dead.
That rock guy,
dead.
Forget all that.
Yep. Nope, couldn't do that.
Ugh.
But I respect your bravery to do that, though.
And your allies are like a pumpkin head guy and a moose couch.
Or then if you got Pig Baby on the other side.
Freaking Pig Baby.
Pig Baby, I'd be out at that point. I could not handle Pig Baby.
Pig Baby.
I
just watched a YouTube video of that because I was like, it wasn't that scary. And I watched it. I was like, oh my God, this is terrifying.
That's one that I actually watched at my Grandpa Vecchio's house. Is one of the things they had on Betamax there.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember my uncle being like, oh, this is great. It's got all these great actors. That was one of the
4 movies that my grandparents had that we watched constantly, even though it was terrifying.
Why would we see this?
Because it does Through the Looking Glass also, and there's all this even more weird stuff.
Yeah.
And then like the freaking Jabberwocky and
ugh.
Nuts.
So you're brave. That's respectable.
Now I have the Lion and the Unicorn. All right.
Your other question.
Your other question was, who is the most famous person I've ever met? That would probably be Maria Bamford, the stand-up comedian. She played the Jukebox Comedy Club in Peoria, Illinois.
That's cool.
She was really nice, and my wife got a picture with her. I also met Brian Posehn and Jimmy J.J. Walker at the comedy club.
Nice.
Sounds
like a good club.
Sounds like it was dynamite.
Yeah.
I also met David Sedaris and Sarah Vowell of This American Life fame at their book readings. That's awesome.
Nice.
David Sedaris was allergic to my wife's perfume. If you're into comic books, I met a good amount of comic creators at comic conventions, including Greg Rucka, Mark Waid, Chris Claremont, Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness, and Alex Ross.
Even I know some of those names.
Anyway, this email is long enough as it is. Great show, and you guys are great. Mark Bolton, hashtag let the cookies cool, hashtag pizza toots.
Pizza toots. Yes. I'm ready for a new we're gonna see the Angry Birds at some point here, and you just be ready for Eagle Pea jokes.
Okay.
Today we watched America's Funniest Home Videos, and there was one where like these two girls were doing something and she falls over and then toots right at the camera, and the kid's like, "Can we watch it again? Please let us watch it again." So yeah, keeping it alive. Pizza toots are real.
All right, here's another one from Anonymous from Canada.
Okay.
He says, I've never heard Canadian bacon called Canadian bacon in Canada. It's called back bacon, pea meal bacon, or ham. Hawaiian pizza is ordered by asking for ham and pineapple. Sorry for breaking hearts.
Oh, no hearts broken. But it does make me curious, like, where did that come from?
Us being dumb?
I guess so. That's
Brendo, I wanted to make you jealous. Guess who my junior high wrestling coach was? One of the Hart brothers. What? Oh, it's probably Ross or Smith.
Jimmy?
Smith Hart was kind of nuts. Well, it could have been like Bruce. There's like a ton of them. It's probably Bruce. He seems like an amateur. They're all one of the Hart brothers. I don't know his first name. He was Coach Hart. He was crazy about teaching and perfecting fundamentals. It's because his dad was. That's what his dad did.
They had a lot of deep conversations, didn't they?
Yeah, it was from heart to heart.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got you there.
Yeah, you gotta jump on me.
I only know about 4 wrestling moves, but was number 2 in the city in my weight class. And it's all because of Coach Hart and being in a nice weight class.
Nice.
That's awesome. I can't believe you were in band with Switchfoot. Well, with Tim.
Not all of Switchfoot.
Switchfoot. Well, and John was, he was older, but he came on some of our trips in high school, like some of our high school trips.
Right.
But yeah, I was. He played saxophone. He taught me a lot. He was the lead saxophone.
That's how you got into Scooby-Doo Snack Pack.
Yeah. Best concert I've ever been to was their Hello Hurricane tour. It's cool.
I have a little connection to Switchfoot too.
Yeah.
Well, because currently not the original, but Jerome, who does like keys and programming and stuff. He was in a band called
and all their awesome guitar riffs.
Well, yeah, he does a lot of stuff. Basically, when they did the switch, what's that name? The album that has
Meant to Live,
and
New Way to Be Human was the one before that.
Yeah, it's the one after that. There's a major shift in tone.
Oh, that
production.
That is that's 100% Jerome.
If you listen to their band, in fact, if you like Switchfoot a lot, look up a band called Fold Zandura.
Yeah.
There's stuff out there on, wherever. Fold, F-O-L-D, Zandura. That's Jerome from Switchfoot. That's his band before that, and you will hear like, oh, this is where Switchfoot got that sound. That's why it changed. Their album was Ultra Forever. That's probably the best example of it. It's fantastic.
I listen to it all the time.
So if you like that. And so anyway, I booked tons of shows with those guys when I was booking shows with Biola.
And purchased their PA.
And when they were ready they were moving on to other stuff, they had a touring PA, and I bought the trailer and PA from them, and I still have that to this day. Well, I sold the trailer, but I have the PA still in my garage. And I use a lot of the equipment from them. So I still have, and their band before that was called Mortal, and I still even have stuff that has like Mortal printed, like screen printed on it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And then the other guy who joined the band even after him is named Andrew Shirley, who you'll probably, if you're a Switchfoot fan, you know who he is. He was in a band before that called Altogether Separate, who before that was called Praise House, and they were the house band at Pine Summit, where that was my first job running sound. Was a camp called Pine Summit, and they were the house band, and I worked for a whole summer with them, and I was their sound guy. And then he went on to go to the next band, and then finally Switchfoot. So I know 2 of the guys like who would know me by name when I bumped into them. Saw them at Disneyland while I worked there, and like was able to talk to them, and they both remember me. So,
and I'm still pretty sure we saw Gyro at the Halloween thing.
No, it was Jerome. I think it was Jerome.
Oh, you think so?
That's who I thought.
Oh no, it was Jerome.
Yeah, who's the one from Switchfoot?
Yeah.
I don't know. If not, it was a doppelganger. It was close enough that I almost said something, but then I didn't. So anyway.
But I haven't seen Tim since 8th grade.
Yeah, well, yeah, I haven't seen those guys since.
I did
2006.
post a message on the Switchfoot message board, and he replied to me.
That's cool.
But
that probably doesn't exist anymore. Right?
No.
Message board.
What? All right. Any good stories from band tours, band camps? I never did tour or camp. We didn't have band camp. Our band, we were already. This was like right before like the music programs in most California public schools got cut completely. Right. So we were already like he could only come every other day because he was going around to all the other schools, and so we didn't have band camp or anything. We did. I never got to do marching because like marching band got to go to like Disneyland and all that stuff, and I never got to that point.
Right.
So I was super bummed because my friend Tim got to go to Disneyland, and they actually got to go on Indiana Jones before it opened.
That's cool.
And I remember he like
soft open
told me about it, and I was so ticked off.
I have one story from band.
Yeah.
So 6th grade, and I decided I wanted to join the band. I wanted to play saxophone. And so, had to get permission ahead of time to you leave class because it was during the middle school day. So I leave class and walk over to the band room, and everyone's like getting their instruments out. And I'm like, and the band teacher comes up and he's like, "Oh, you signed up for saxophone? Where's saxophone?" I was like, "We had to bring one." He's like, "Oh yeah, like everyone's been working on it, like practicing at home, and you're supposed to bring your own instrument." And everyone's like warming up, and I didn't even know how to like blow in the thing. I'm like, "Oh, I don't have that." And he's like, "Well, why don't you go back to class and come back when you have it?" And I never came back. And that's my experience with band. So then I just learned how to play guitar and started my own band.
Why didn't you just get a saxophone?
Because everyone already was like playing stuff. Like they had gotten them over the summer and were practicing them and stuff, knew how to make sound out of it. And I was like, I have no idea. And they didn't, and I was embarrassed. Everyone's in there and they're like, "Oh, just come back later when you have one." I'm
not even joking. I was so freaked out. I didn't think I was going to be able to, I didn't know what I was doing, but had you ever done recorder?
Yeah.
If you can do recorder, you could, because I started like immediately, like I could figure it. It was like
I'm sure I could have, but at the time, this was like in the depth of Phil being like shy and like not in the cool crowd, and these kids probably were chuckling at me. At least in my mind, they were like, "Oh, look at this idiot."
Dude, I totally, I get you, man. But that was like where I'm like, no, this is gonna work. And I remember I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm good at something." And I went from beginning because I didn't start till I was in 6th grade. And I went from beginning to advanced band in like the span of like a couple months. I remember there was some resentment.
Right.
But I was like, I found, it was like when you find your thing.
Yeah.
And,
I thought that was going to be it, but it just, once that incident happened, I was out. I was not going back.
I researched Canadian bacon for hours. It is a controversial topic.
Matthew in the chat has been looking up Canadian bacon. You'll have to enlighten us at a later date here.
All right, we gotta
move along. We're still in the letters here.
All right, Andres writes, "Hey guys, first off, I don't think the artwork Brendo gave me credit for. I don't think I did the artwork.
Oh, okay.
Which was the
you were
cowboy
talking about
one.
Last episode, right?
That is correct.
Oh, okay.
I got confused. So that was actually done by the Wonder Brothers, and you can actually they sell prints and stuff. They're like professional artists."
But Andres
did do stuff. So the bagged and boarded one that it used to be my profile picture.
Yeah.
So there's my picture and Matt's picture, but it was like he like made it look like it was hand drawn and like a marquee poster.
Okay.
He did that.
That's it. Okay. So you weren't wrong that he did stuff. You just got confused.
I knew he did like one of the first ones, and that was.
All right.
So I apologize to the Wonder Brothers because they're really cool. And so he says, "I don't remember doing that particular one. Will be the first time I forgot about something I did, though. But you were correct.
You got it straightened out, hopefully."
And he said, "Secondly, sorry I had to leave early. My brother and his girl were starving, and the place in front had apparently closed. Yeah, the pizza place closed.
They're going to want to stay open later now.
The 3:30 closure They had to double back to the. So yeah, it took us.
Yeah, we almost so Andres and his brother and girlfriend and friend, I think, the other guy, they came up and a bus, I guess, went off the road and it was a big thing. So on their way up to our live thing,
25 people got hurt.
And so we were worried for a while they weren't going to be able to make it up. And
his brother actually tweeted, and I didn't get a notification.
Oh, okay.
But he had tweeted like, "Hey, we're going to be there at this 5:10 is our ETA."
Okay. So it worked out okay, but
reach out.
Yeah, and don't worry. I mean, I knew they had to take off. You guys came all the way up to Big Bear. You did the whole thing. Like, don't stress about that. We were.
He says, "I ain't gonna lie. We're more of a in the back kind of people, and the front row is a little too close for me."
And I was saying before the show, I feel bad. Like
put you in a spotlight.
I do that, but I was excited you guys were there. So I hope I didn't like make you too uncomfortable. But we were really, really excited you guys came. Thank you so much for coming up all the way to Big Bear to do that stuff.
Pea meal bacon sandwiches are often considered a signature dish of Toronto's St. Lawrence Market. Pea meal. I don't know if I could eat something that's called pea meal.
Pea like the vegetable.
I don't like peas.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
Meal made from peas?
Yeah.
So it's like pea mush? Ew.
I don't know. All right, but we're in the middle of a letter here.
All right.
He said it's too close for him.
But now I have an excuse to go to Comic-Con Palm Springs so I can get a whole live show in.
Yes, that's good. I promise if you come to Comic-Con Palm Springs and you're there, I won't intentionally embarrass you. I won't put you on the spot there. You're still welcome to ask questions. I just like that. I like getting the crowd involved, but I know not everybody wants that.
All right, and then he says as far as the escape room goes, we are talking about doing another one in the future.
He said it was a lot of fun. You missed that part.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. We were talking about doing another one in the future. And I can muster up the courage to drive up that hill again. Really, I don't know how people do that drive regularly, right? Okay. It's crazy.
So I should have told you this before, and I'll tell this to Andres if you do come up again. You guys both came up the front way, which is where Google will send you, and that is the most. I don't drive that way ever. You got to go the back way.
What is the back way?
It comes right out here out of. I don't know why Google sends you that way because the back way comes here out of Mentone.
That's what I went on the way. That's what I did.
No, you said you came up to 330. I thought.
Well, on the way home, I went the way to Mentone.
Okay, well that's way better.
I don't like that anyway.
No, it's got a quarter of the amount of curves. It's much more flat. It really is. That's a huge, huge, huge difference. I never go the front way. So next time, if you're gonna go up, get in touch with me beforehand. I'll get you the directions to go the way that the locals drive, because the locals don't go that way unless you live way out on that end of town. So anyway, that being said, I'm so glad you guys came up. I'm so glad it was fun. And he says he'll come up and check out the next room.
Thanks for the invite and the experience.
David in the chat points out the front way is slightly shorter mileage. Yes, but it's way more curvy, and there's always more traffic incidents, and you've got everybody coming up that way, so it's always going to be slower because you're stuck behind slow cars. So I never go that way. That's my point.
You know what's not slow is DreamHost web hosting and Stitcher and all that stuff.
That's true.
But we already plugged
We
Stitcher.
did that last time, yeah. You did Amazon Prime.
The DreamHost, you can save $50 off your hosting if you go to radiobrendo.com and click the DreamHost link.
Yes.
Save $50 off your order. It's a great deal.
Amazon this week.
Amazon, we got some stuff.
Because we already talked about how to do it last time, but click to the website.
Go to Radio Brendo.
BrendoMan.
Click the Amazon. You also got your Amazon Prime free trial. If you haven't done it.
You got the best laugh of the night out of that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
On our Tuesday's episode there.
You're welcome, everybody. But people got a lot of good stuff.
That's true. What did people buy this week?
On Amazon, they got Dabung, men's formal necktie, solid colors, finest quality ties, black.
Better than Badung.
Black tie. Men's vintage casual solid waffle knit woven square end necktie. It's like 8 million words.
Yes, for a tie. Okay.
Here's Van Goghti zippered sport case covered gym running with removable strap armband with card and key slot for HTC One Max, M9, M8, M7, BlackBerry Z10 Black.
It cut off. I think it keeps going in the description on the website, actually.
Oh my gosh, I think that's like an armband for a phone.
But I think it's just a cover for it, though.
It's the armband. It's a case with removable strap armband. It's for running.
Okay.
You strap it to your arm. I had one of those.
I love these descriptions.
So you can find their stuff.
Yeah.
Philips something flexible ear hook headphones. So somebody's running.
Someone's doing some exercise. That's good.
Exercise. We got 8-inch Damo vacuum suction cup for granite and glass lifting.
What?
Oh, it's for like you like it's like the thing you like pop it on there. And then
whoa, that's like if you're like breaking into a place and you like climb up the windows on the outside of a skyscraper.
So
that's what that is.
Lift up the pane of glass.
But that's how they always do it in the movies. They use that and they climb up the side of the building.
Yeah.
And then they use the glass cutter to go around the outside and lift out the circle.
That's a totally thing.
I mean, that's right out of the movies. Is someone planning on breaking into a skyscraper?
Maybe.
Please tell me if that's true. Like, you can be anonymous and tell us we're doing it. Do we have a cat burglar audience?
Maybe.
What if we have a strong attraction for cat burglars for some reason? Why?
Well,
I don't know. What about our show is appealing to them?
Smooth voices.
Yeah, it's got to be it. They listen to us while they're cracking safes. All right.
All right, we got last but not least, Mega Bloks Hello Kitty Busy Bumper Cars Building Kit.
Someone really likes Hello Kitty.
More Mega Bloks.
Audrey really likes Hello Kitty too.
You know what else I like? I like Mountain Room Escapes. If you go to mountainroomescapes.com, use the code Radio BrendoMan, you get $5 off each ticket and a special exclusive gift at the game.
That's right. You got this cool key when you went up there. Look at that.
You know what else I got?
What'd you get?
I got live shows coming up at Comic-Con Palm Springs.
That's right. August 26th, 28th.
.com. Mark it on your calendar.
Do it.
All right. So we already talked about Big Bear Day.
Well, the only thing I wanted to add is that we didn't talk about visiting the floating bathroom on the lake.
We didn't actually visit it.
We went in circles around it for a while.
Around it multiple times.
But that was the kids' most exciting part was that we went and saw a floating bathroom on the lake.
As soon as your dad talked about the floating bathroom, that's all they
They're like, can we go on a boat, see the float? We got to see the floating bathroom. And then my dad tried to dock to it, but he just kept driving around it in circles for a while. And then he's like, I think we're going to just keep going now.
Room escape drama.
Yeah, okay, so this is separate. Well, we already talked about this live show, but that was really cool, and I'm super stoked. And we hadn't talked about on the show because we did this afterwards, but we did record our live BrendoMan All-Stars songs. We'll be posting the video for at least one of them.
Nerve-wracking.
And audio for the rest.
And I made Phil's mom cry.
My mom was very emotional. I think she liked it. I think it went well, though. I mean, you know, considering what it is that we do. We had 2 acoustic songs, and then I did a surprise for you, and we did some Nintendo DS stuff as well.
Yeah.
So we'll post the audio from some of them and the video from at least one to do our Kickstarter backer stuff. So, but it'll be open. Everyone can see this. This was not just Kickstarter exclusive. So you guys can all check it out. The drama was not from my brothers. This is from the other one, and I'm not going to go into it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I teased it last time, but I'll tell you what. For the sake of time tonight,
dude, it's fine. We're fine.
I'll go briefly into it. So we were supposed to go to a room escape on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Which is because we're obsessed with it. So we're going to go Saturday night and then go up to Big Bear and do another one on Sunday.
Oh, my gosh.
And on like Thursday, I think, Janelle like looked at the confirmation thing to kind of get the details, starting to plan for it. And she realized it was booked on the wrong day. It was booked for Sunday, which obviously we couldn't do. And we're like, what happened? She went and she talked to my mom because she and my mom booked it together. They remember very clearly, you know, checking the date, writing it down, whatever. So we went and looked on their website, and all the room escapes have the same kind of booking software, right? I can't remember what it's called, but like Matthew has it on his. All of them have the same thing, you know, it's set up for room escapes. And whenever you book like an airline or whatever, the little calendar pops up and you can pick what your day is, right? What's the first day and the last day of those calendars typically?
I don't know. It usually changes.
No, it always goes Saturday to Sunday. Or no, sorry, Sunday to Saturday.
Not all of them.
Like on a calendar. When you look at a calendar, North American calendar, it goes Sunday to Saturday.
Not all the time.
All of them. You check any single one of them. It's Sunday to Saturday. I went and looked at every single one we've booked. They're all the same. This guy's goes Monday to Sunday.
Okay.
So they had clicked on the end of that week and thinking it was Saturday and clicked on the wrong one. So anyway, we had to book for the wrong day, which is, you know, I mean, it's a bummer, but that's no problem because we looked and they have open days on Saturday or open slots that we could still do. Like the time we wanted to go was still open. So we call them up. We got a voicemail. We left a voicemail and explained, like, hey, we'd like to switch from Saturday to Sunday. We see you have an open time slot, so, you know, give us a call and let us know, like, how it could go. And
Sunday to Saturday.
Sunday to Saturday. I said it wrong now, but we said it right then.
Sure?
Anyway, we wanted to switch. Janelle's the one that said it. I didn't do it. She called this. She called a couple times. We sent emails. Then we started kind of getting concerned because we didn't hear from them. And we look on like their social media, and they haven't updated their social media since like last April. So it's just all dead. And we're like, wait. And we look, and there's like, we looked at the reviews on Yelp, and it's all horrible reviews about how they have bad customer service and no communication. We started calling and calling, like just every like 10 minutes we would call throughout day and night for days, and no one ever answered the phone. We left a few messages, but we just kept calling like every once in a while. And so finally, like Saturday afternoon comes, and we're like, what do we do? Like, today's the day. My parents were coming down because it's out in L.A. They were planning on driving out there. We're going to drive out there. And we're like, what are we going to do? So Janelle called up Groupon, and because we had got a deal through Groupon, booked it through them, and she told them the situation. They said, oh, they're in breach of contract. We'll just refund your money right now. We're like, okay. So they did that. And then, though, we realized that we had actually had to pay extra because my mom added a person onto the room, and they had this whole scandalous thing where you had to pay extra for booking on Saturday, but that wasn't in their fine print. That added it later. So anyway, we go to PayPal and just report, we didn't get the services because the guy didn't respond. Again, this is to multiple emails, Facebook messages, phone calls, you name it. So once we do the report with PayPal, the next day he responds to the report and says, no, we have a no cancellation policy. This is ridiculous. You're committing fraud, blah, 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 blah. So it took that long for him to get back to us. And so then we've had this big old exchange. He claims that we never tried to get in contact with him. And finally, after I wrote all these things, the last thing he wrote was, well, we only got 2 phone calls from you, and that's ridiculous. So you said you called us a bunch. And then I wrote, wait, before you said we didn't call you at all, now you're admitting we called you and you did nothing. And then he hasn't written back yet. And now it's escalated to PayPal for them to deal with.
Oh my God.
The greatest part, though, is that Groupon removed them. If you search them, it still shows the listing, but it says this is no longer available through Groupon. So it can't be just us that is complaining. They have horrible reviews on Yelp. I'm sure they've had other people complain about it. So I'm hoping we were the last straw. But man, this is why I was saying there. If you have a deal, if you have a Groupon deal, don't punish people for using it. That's supposed to bring you business.
Yeah.
So.
All right. One last thing. Audrey, the playwright.
Yes, this is one last little cool bit of news. We got an email from Audrey's teacher tonight. And I was freaking out because I opened it on my phone, but their messaging service doesn't read it all the way, so we had to run and get the computer. But it turns out that earlier this year, there's this group that they come in and does a program at the end of the school year when they have kids submit short stories to them, and they pick one from the school to do that they will write a script up and perform it live at the end of the school year for this school assembly. And they picked Audrey's story, and they're going to be performing Audrey's story.
Whoa.
Yeah. So Audrey got a thing into production faster than we did.
What's her story?
It's called The Very Special Apple or something. She kind of gave us a summary, but she wrote it in the middle of the year, so she couldn't remember all the details of it. But it's about this apple that doesn't want to be what it is anymore, so it goes to its grandma, and they try to find out a new identity for it or something. And I don't know. She didn't show it to us. She wrote it and submitted it straight to them. So Audrey's got a play in production.
That's amazing.
And they're going to be doing it, I think, in the next couple of weeks.
Your daughter, the playwright.
Yeah.
She did it.
She did it.
7 years old.
She already wrote. And she was telling, she's well, I've been wanting people to do the things I've been writing, so I'm glad this worked out. I'm you don't even know. This doesn't just happen. I don't know if they picked multiple ones. That she's definitely the only one in her class, but there may be a few others they picked from the school. I don't know. But her teacher was making a really big deal. This is really cool. I didn't know they were gonna pick someone from my class or something. So pretty stoked.
Runs in the blood.
I guess. I hope. Maybe I can inherit some of it back up. So that's Audrey. What do you got?
A full fruit basket. Only one survives. That's the story.
That's the story. Yeah.
All right.
Story of a fruit.
I have a. We're gonna call this episode because I teased it.
Right.
And call this episode Brendo's Choice.
Yes.
So I guess I gotta tell you.
It's Meryl free though, right?
Yeah, it involves Meryl Streep.
Well, Sophie's Choice.
Running away with Meryl Streep.
Please no. Then the answer is no. That's the choice.
Found out that Gail's not actually my mom. It's Meryl Streep.
It's Meryl.
So I have to decide.
That's why you're
Gail
such a terrible actor.
And
all right.
Hello.
Oh, my name is Meryl.
All right.
Oh, that new one she's in looks really good.
Oh,
Where
it
she's like the
does.
singer?
Yes, I know.
Because she's supposed to be terrible. That's why it works.
So,
Okay. Brendo's choice.
Brendo's choice. So I'm looking online because I already had to I had to go to find out when Comic-Con was because I had to request the days off from
Right.
work. And then I'm on the website and I look and I'm like, oh, when's WonderCon next year? And I look and it's way earlier than usually is.
It's not Easter?
April 2nd. It's April 1st and 2nd, which I think that might be Easter this year.
Oh, I guess it could. It bounces around, huh?
So, and then I'm like, wait, that sounds familiar.
Uh-oh.
Look up, go on WWE.com.
Oh.
WrestleMania 33 in Orlando is April 2nd.
Well, what if we get panels? You're going to turn... What
Hey,
if...
you can do those panels without me.
Well, here's what I'm saying.
Bro.
What if you did... We're playing hypothetical here. What if you chose to go to WrestleMania and you didn't do it, and then they look and see, well, he didn't do this panel, and the next year they decide not to renew your professional badge because you weren't there and you don't get to go to Comic-Con. And they don't give me a pro guest.
The panels aren't related to our professional
But they
badge.
punish you for it.
Why wouldn't they? Why would they punish me for
What
it?
if they did?
I'm not.
What if that was the thing? How would that affect your
You're
choice?
on the panel.
But
That's not going to happen.
what if it did?
Well, of course, if that did, but it's not going to happen.
Now there's a little seed of doubt.
No, there is not.
There's no seed of
There
doubt.
is no seed
What
of
if
doubt.
they just decide not to give us the panel anymore?
Why would they do that?
I don't know. What if they did? Like this
They
guy's
could
not
do
committed.
that anyways.
This guy's not committed.
I
They
don't
check
think
your
that's-
social media
they're not
feeds and know
doing
you're
that.
going there.
They're not doing any of that.
All right, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm going to WrestleMania 33
You're gonna skip
in Orlando.
WonderCon. You're not gonna do the panels.
You can do them.
Man, so it's not even a choice. You've pre-decided.
I don't know, but I really want to go because I want to go to Harry Potter
You
Land.
can do that anytime. You don't have to go to WrestleMania for that.
Well, if I can do them both, and I have to go to WrestleMania, Harry Potter, and
Yeah, but
WrestleMania.
you're not gonna have time to enjoy Harry Potter because you're gonna want to do all your wrestle stuff.
Dude, I have that whole week off. I will go there, so I'll get there that weekend. I have the wrestle stuff doesn't start until Thursday, That
Man.
gives me,
Wait,
like-
what day is WrestleMania?
Sunday.
So you could go to WonderCon
None of
Friday,
the days.
Saturday, and fly out Saturday night.
Except then I wouldn't be able to go to any of the other wrestling stuff or to Harry Potter Land.
I don't know, man.
Not doing any of those.
David says Orlando's terrible.
I don't care.
I
I've been
disagree
to
with that, but I'm
Orlando
just
and I
telling you what
like
he said.
Orlando.
I do too.
Also, I want to go to Gatorland.
All right.
Still never been.
What if you're gonna be able to fit all this in? It's a
I
lot to
can-
do.
Oh, you're talking to the king of fitting stuff in.
Yeah, there's your title.
Yes.
All right.
I did I beat my record of shows.
Yeah, but what
In
going to like
days.
Harry Potter Land? That's a lot of time.
That is 4 days before. Again, that stuff doesn't start until the Thursday. I am off Friday, fly Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Why don't you just do all that and then come back for WonderCon?
Then I wouldn't be going to WrestleMania.
Yeah, but you do all the other stuff.
Then it's not. No, I got to do it all.
So it's not even a choice. You made the choice.
I know,
Look at this.
but I don't
All
know.
right. Well, all I'm saying is, if you have to miss out on San Diego the next year by some fallout from this incident,
That's like what Fallout?
I warned you. I don't know. Just saying.
You're still gonna do the panel.
What if I have something to do and I have to bail on it?
So what? Now you're giving me a hard time.
I don't know if I do. I'm just saying, what if I did?
Then we're not doing the panel,
And then we lose San Diego.
and that's it. It's over.
Is it worth it?
It's all over. You're the one that's also bailing out now.
Oh, I know it's worth. What if it's worth it to me? Is it worth it to you?
It's worth it to me, but it's worth it to me to go to WrestleMania.
All right. So you never go to San Diego again. No more panels.
What? How does that happen?
I'm just saying. What happens?
That's not gonna happen.
All right. All right.
Oh my gosh, what are you doing right
I'm
now?
just playing devil's advocate. That's what I do.
Mean.
No, I'm not. You said you want to bail on our panel to go
I'm
to
not-
a wrestling show.
It's the wrestling show.
Still, it's the panel.
We do multiple panels.
For now.
You and Patrick, and then you get a third person.
All right. All right.
Get some other webcomic guy. Get
All right.
Eddie Angelini.
That's true, but I don't know. What if he's
Get-
going to WrestleCon?
Yeah, exactly.
Josh likes no, but we're gonna have our podcasting.
Josh
panel.
says, "I love how Phil is this crazy about the webcomic panel. He can't use that passion to put up comics in a timely manner."
I'm talking about our live podcast.
We have so many people that can be on that panel. You don't need me to
What
do
about
that
live
panel.
radio, BrendoMan?
We're not doing that at WonderCon.
What if we did? What if they
That's
offer
not
that?
happening. That's never happening.
But if they did, would you change?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. It's good to have your priorities in check. That's all right.
Maybe.
So you're saying they said live radio, BrendoMan,
I can't miss WrestleMania.
and they'd probably get to do it at San Diego if it goes well.
Holy crap.
You would still choose WrestleMania?
No.
That's why this is Brendo's choice. It's got to be challenging.
But that's not what's happening.
All right, but I'm just saying, if it does come up,
how's it going to come up?
they're going to call us.
Oh, yeah.
Brendo,
I'm
you
waiting
want to do a
for
live
that
show?
call.
You want to do the live show at San Diego?
We're running late.
All right, we should get going on there. But that's
Past my
Brendo's choice.
bedtime.
All right.
I had to do Brendo's choice. We were going to skip everything else.
We got to close with Marmaduke, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
We're going to skip
okay.
all this.
We'll talk about all the other stuff later.
Talk about all this stuff later.
Pleep Ploop will come another
Pleep,
time.
pleep, ploop.
Pleepy Ploop. Pleep,
We talked about Pleep Ploop. We've talked about it at least twice.
Whoa, this is
show.
an ongoing thing now. I will always be saying Pleepy Ploop.
I'm aware of that. You know what it is time for? It is time. It's time. It's Marmaduke time.
Yes.
What do we got?
All right. So this week in Marmaduke, let's see. Last week, he was a
flying
coat
Marmaduke.
rack.
Oh no, coat rack Marmaduke.
Well, he flew and he was a coat rack.
Yeah.
It was a crazy week. So this week, it's snowy outside. There's a lot of snow in the house. Marmaduke is barking angrily into the house.
Why is he barking at the house?
He's barking angrily into it, and then it triggers a little avalanche, and all the snow off the roof, whoomp, down onto his head. And then the dad, Phil, opens the door, and there's Marmaduke. It looks like a Marmaduke snow dog. And he says, "Well, I'll be." And he kind of like shuffles into the house covered in snow. "Dottie, come look at this. Come take a look at this." The wife's name is Dottie. I think that's the first time we've heard that.
Yeah, Dottie.
Dottie there.
Phil and Dottie.
So he calls out, "Dottie, come take a look at this."
Listen, Dottie, I'm a loner. I'm a loner, Dottie.
I'm a loner. I'm a rebel. So then Marmaduke shake, 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 and the snow flies off of him. And now Phil's covered in snow like a snowman. Dottie's looking a little perturbed there, and she says, "You wanted to show me something?" And Marmaduke's looking pretty pleased with himself.
Okay, that's not even a joke.
Well, because see, Marmaduke was covered in snow, now he is.
Why? So that's your dog is like covered in snow, probably freezing to death, and your response is, "Hey, everybody, let's laugh
So
at this."
let's look here. Here's where the dog abuse is. The dog's outside in freezing cold weather, barking angrily because they left him outside. He's dying out there.
Yeah,
They left him to die in the snow.
Phil finally had enough.
He's done. He's done. Marmaduke's like, "I'm gonna die out here." And the only reason he opened it is because it's like
what is he doing outside in the snow?
He's gonna die. That's where it is.
So he's like begging, and then Phil hears the womb, thinking that maybe it's finished.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "All right, Dottie, come look at this.
Look. It's
done.
He's dead, finally. The deed is done. And then, Marmaduke's all
I
proud.
have murdered my ensouled father.
And now Dottie's like, "You wanted to show me something?" Because she thought it was taken care of. You couldn't even get this one job done. That's what she's saying.
Holy crap.
The family's trying to murder Marmaduke.
Yeah, and so he's like, I'm one step ahead of you guys.
But they know they can't like attack him because he's too powerful. But if they lock him out and let him freeze to death, they think they can get to him. But not that.
Diabolical.
Man, this is nuts.
Yeah, what is he doing outside?
Why is he locked out there? He's clearly angry. He knows that they're trying to kill him.
And he has a forced breath that he's pushing. His breath
like he moved it, like it's he willed it to be.
Yeah, he has force powers.
Marmaduke is nuts. So this is a Marmaduke has powers, and they're trying to kill him.
Revenge on Phil.
Marmaduke and it's revenge. And
not even revenge, just like self-defense.
Yeah. Man. Brad Anderson.
But it seems now like Phil is actively trying to murder Marmaduke.
He's excited.
First he's got him chained up.
When he says, "Well, I'll be," he's like, "We did it.
Yeah.
We did it. We killed Marmaduke."
And we found out the mom's name is Dottie.
And we know now. What are we? We're 95 pages in. That's the first time they gave her a name.
Phil and Dottie.
I don't think this passes the Bechdel test.
Nope.
All right. That's Marmaduke for the week. That's our show for the week.
That is our show for the week.
Yeah.
We're running pretty late, and it's time for my bedtime. Oh, that's the one other thing I was going to talk about.
Okay.
You want to know why? So I got home at like 10.
Right.
I'm like, I need to go to bed, and I was like, oh crap, WWE Extreme Rules was tonight, and I don't want to get it spoiled. So
you stayed up?
I watched a whole. I might have fast forwarded a couple points, but I watched the whole thing.
So that's why the extra tired today.
Yeah, I didn't go to bed till like 1.
Man. See, me on the other hand, we got down, about 10, a little after 10, because we had to go pick up the kids. We got everyone into bed, and I'm like, I'm going to watch a movie just to kind of debrief. So I turn on, like, the Wii U and get, like, Hulu loaded up and promptly fell asleep with, like, the Hulu menu on in my chair. Woke up at, like, 3 in the morning, and it was sitting on the TV on the Hulu menu. So I didn't get very far.
All
right.
Well, should we go to radiobrendo.com, go to bendingnetwork.com, check out all the shows there, and check out all the other stuff.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening, of course.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for your support. And don't forget to check out mountainroomescapes.com if you're in the Big Bear area.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matthew, for providing, and your mom.
That's right.
For providing a great weekend.
Yeah, cool venue, an opportunity to do a live show. It was very, very cool.
So that's going to do it. And for Radio BrendoMan, I'm Brendan Creasy.
And I'm Phil Vecchio.
Have a good one, everybody.
David said he ate 3/4 of a pound of shrimp while listening to Radio BrendoMan tonight.
That doesn't sound
You're going to have 3/4 of the runs in a couple minutes here. I like shrimp, though. What kind of shrimp? Like a shrimp ring? Fried shrimp?
Give me a minute. You can't see you.
I don't know. He could be saying, like, hilarious things right now. We got to save it. Shrimp boat? Shrimp scampi? Cocktail shrimp.
Sugar-free chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, that's, yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Shrimp and
white wine.
Chocolate.
Yeah, that's a good way to get things moving. It's like the Drano of human Drano.
Gonna have some cherries now.
Are you blocked up? Are you trying to get things moving? Shrimp, sugar-free chocolate, and cherries.
I still haven't. There's a tag team in PWG. Have I told you this before?
I don't know.
There's a tag team in PWG called the Beaver Boys, and they dress like the Beaver Boys.
That's funny.
I don't think a lot of people know that it's a Tim and Eric sketch.
Do they drink shrimp or have shrimp and white wine?
Yes.
Do they just throw up all over the place?
They don't do that, but they do the whole thing.
I love Janelle's impression of us watching.
All right.
Sweet. Thanks for hanging out in the chat, y'alls.
Yeah.
Josh, you got to come up and try this RoomScape in Big Bear. Like, you will be blown away.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, dude, they did. Okay.
I had never done one before.
I said this on the show. Yeah, so you liked it.
I was very impressed. And Phil and Janelle were impressed.
I said this on the show last night, which you'll hear, I guess, later. But, like, there was a little bit in the back of my mind where I'm like, what? It's my cute little brother, and what if it's not that good, and I have to be like, good job, blah blah blah. We did the first run, like we were the first people that went through it. So we were beta testing.
Yeah.
There was only just a couple small things that we helped them like iron out, but nothing like. I mean, we've been to ones that have been running and paid full price that had things of this nature happen before.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a major game breaking. It was just a couple little elements that they needed to like fix up and stuff. So
it was really fun.
It was so good. The effects
challenging.
were fantastic.
The effects were amazing.
So I was saying on the show, like I was worried a little bit in the back of my mind that I would be like have to be good job, blah blah. But like it was really good. Like it ranks up there with some of the best ones we've done. And both Janelle and I like. Once like the opening thing happened, there's a big opening moment.
Yeah.
We both started like getting teary-eyed. We're like, because I was just so proud. Like this is my brother's room, and it kicks the butt of most of the rooms that we have done. And this is like his first run.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was really great.
Yeah, he did a really good job. We had Andres, one of our listeners, and 3 of his friends.
Yeah.
Well, brother and friend stuff. They came and did it with us, and they liked it.
They hadn't done one before.
They hadn't done one. So
Bob Poole was all over that.
The All-Stars performance did happen. We have video of at least one that's going to go up on YouTube.
I don't know
how
I feel about it.
It was fun. So we did 2 acoustic guitar songs where Brendo sang, and then we did one just where we did our 3DS, our DS stuff, and we were having an issue with video, so I haven't gotten to go back and see what. I know for sure we got the one song covered, but we'll see. The other ones will at least post audio. It will be up soon. We just did this last night, so it's been we haven't had a chance yet, but it'll be there. I'll send it. It'll be on YouTube. Don't worry. It's going up for the world.
Josh,
you will see it. My mom cried during our songs.
Yeah.
And I don't think she was crying because she was so sad that we were like terrible.
I think
she like, but it was
I think she was like,
oh
my gosh.
This is my son. What have I done?
What is
oh my
wrong with
gosh.
What is
Where did
wrong
I go
with
wrong? But no, I mean she liked it. But that's
Speaking of
mom's
insane,
opinion,
Speaking of crazy, did you watch Josh Forbes' music video?
I don't know. I just saw like a little
Kendra
clip.
Wilkinson music video. I cannot imagine what that was like for him.
All right, he does some weird stuff. David had the actual answer. She thought your lyrics were touching. She liked it. It was heartfelt. But the funny part that Josh will appreciate is that Josh Poole came and played the scene live, for our opening song. And then he wound up sticking around for the whole live show. And then at the end, he heard us talking about how we were going to do the songs. He's like, oh, I want to see that. So we had to perform our songs in front of Josh Poole. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. I can't believe I'm having to play guitar in front of him, let alone do, these songs that we've practiced, 3 times. And, Josh Anderson gets nervous playing around. So imagine me, I kind of, turned my back a little bit so he couldn't watch my hand. And there was, this one song that I had, a little picking part, and I totally scrapped that. I'm like, I'm not going to pick something. And after he just did the scene,
Yeah, that was really good, and then he didn't do it.
I couldn't do it in front of him. I don't get nervous much, but, and he is. And that's the thing. And he was very complimentary afterwards. He was like, oh, you guys did
Does it mess me up that you didn't do the little,
It was fine. It turned out fine, but he's super nice, and I know he's not like that, but if you watch him play guitar, it's a little intimidating to follow that act. So, I didn't think he was going to stick around the whole time, but it was cool. It was really cool. We got good talking with him and stuff. So
let me talk about video games.
Talk about video games.
He was playing the new King's Quest, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then he had never heard of Day of the Tentacle before, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, the funny thing is, a lot of those games, like King's Quest and all the LucasArts stuff that he did play, I played over at his house. David and I would go over there and we'd play that. So, because we had some stuff, but they had the stuff we didn't have. So they'd come over to our house and play Myst, and we'd go over there and play King's Quest and all that stuff.
Day is my super favorite, and I still haven't bought it yet, but they have the remix. They finally came out with the remix.
Doom. See, I didn't. I think that was probably as it went later, because the only time I played Doom was over at Tim Stopko's house, and I was already not good at first-person shooters at that point.
Why aren't you playing Overwatch? Figured you'd be all over that. You didn't buy it.
Oh.
I thought that was going to be a free-to-play thing like Team Fortress.
Well, you under-listened, obviously.
Then it was no, it's a full-on thing.
You weren't paying attention about it.
I wasn't.
You under-listened instead of Overwatch.
And every time I open up the Battle.net application, I just want to install its free updates forever.
Okay. Josh, tonight you have to go back and listen to the YouTube at the very beginning before the show.
Don't do it. You will scream.
It is my finest moment of all time. I made Brendan laugh so hard with my most awesome, horrible pun that he literally cried tears. You can see in the video tears coming down his face from how awesome.
It was the worst pun that you'd ever done, but it was the way you did it and you knew what you did and just the evil thing that
Brendan, he couldn't stop laughing.
I died.
He laughed more than the Chewbacca lady.
Oh my gosh. That Chewbacca lady.
Yep.
I've watched that 1,000 times.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's worse when I know.
Yeah, he knows what he did, and that made it even more.
And sitting here, I got to look my victim directly in the eye as I did it.
So crazy.
Like a puppy that pees on the carpet. Yeah.
And I knew it was coming, and then you did it, and it was just oh my gosh.
Wait, what did I do on the last Mandalorian show?
What don't you do?
I do it all, but I'm curious. What is the thing? What pushed your button? Right now, I can hear Furious typing. There were a bunch of things that I got mad about. Okay, just general Phil nonsense.
Like, your whole thing about your clothes, that was like the stupidest thing I'd ever heard in my life.
It is also 100% real, and you know it.
It is completely
You've had this argument with me, like, it's hot, take your sweatshirt
and
off.
it's like the stupidest, but that really, like...
But look, the one time I break my own rule, I got locked out of my
That's
house.
just because you're a freaking moron and can't remember where you put your...
No, I do, because I keep it in the right place when I'm wearing a
Oh, and you
sweatshirt.
don't know why Megan Fox is popular?
I don't know why she's popular. I just don't want to keep casting her as an actress.
She was really good in This Is 40.
I guess. I feel like she was the weakest link, though.
Oh, yeah, but she was good.
Okay, that still wasn't what made you mad.
I want to hear what made you mad.
He got really mad caps. Like this. Like for real. What? What did I do now? I say so many things. I mean, it's hard to.
Oh my gosh, Josh! I got Phil to play a DS game in his 3DS.
I didn't talk about that on this tonight.
I got him to do it, and he was like so upset.
I had a serious existential crisis. Like we were about to cancel the live show.
It was awesome
because I brought
great.
the DSs, but Janelle's battery had died, so the only one left that I could play one of them in their regular DS cartridges was in my 3DS.
See the look on Phil's face because he was like, I can't believe I have to do this. When I found out what it was, I was like, you are playing that DS.
Yeah, because I stalled the show for like 20 minutes trying to like figure out what to do, and you're like, oh, what are we going to do? And then when you found out, he was so mad at me. He was so mad. I still can't
what
believe
if,
it.
like, all the bad, like, now
yeah, my DS is going to die this week. I know for sure. It'll be dead.
We didn't say what made you mad.
Okay, the real thing that made him mad.
You totally.
I game shamed my wife.
Oh, you did. Crush. You totally did.
Yeah, I guess I did.
You're a bad
I hate
person.
that game though. It's so irritating. It's so irritating. What do I know? I know what.
It is a bad game though. Like.
Oh man, he's getting like random punctuation in there. It's like some serious typing. What did I do? You aren't in any position to shame people over game choices. That I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that. Especially
as you play
I play a lot of Pokemon Shuffle still to this day. I realize it's very similar, but I hate the game design on that. The way that it goes is just super frustrating.
Don't trash that Disney game. That Disney game is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Volume number 2 is coming out.
I'm so excited.
Well, I don't know. That one, and I'll tell you what, have her start asking Josh for plays on Facebook and see how long he defends. That's what I'm saying. It's the way that it's done. People are so irritating about it. Pokemon Shuffle, yes. I realize it's related, but it's free. I didn't have to pay anything for it. So I don't know. But I never have to bug someone to, like, oh, hey, can you help me out with Pokemon Shuffle? I do it in my privacy of my own home. Don't run your mouth. All right, lecture noted. Lecture noted. But I still think it's irritating. That's all I'm saying. All right, you gotta go to bed.
Yes.
You gotta go to bed. I gotta go to fall asleep with Hulu on again. So, like my Pokemon, so I can get more hearts. Good night. Thank you guys for hanging out. Go listen to my terrible pun in the pre-show if you didn't already.
It's so bad.
It's so good. It's only like a couple minutes in, I think.
Oh.
It won't take you long. Well, you'll enjoy it.
No, you won't.
Trust me, you need to hear this. You need to hear this. It's so good.
All right, good night, you two.
All right.